Yeah. We back again. Turn this down. Okay. Back again. Remember the name yet? Anybody? You're going to need to know their name before you can make the vote. We don't want you wasting your vote on none of the other 49 candidates that are only going to lose. We need you to value these votes. So you need to know the winning name. What's the name? Aaron Benjamin Miles. Aaron, 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 Aaron Benjamin Miles. Rise of the Good People. It's my campaign. Rise of the Good People. Aaron Benjamin Miles. And this is my docu-series. It's a 2-year journey. I've been on this journey for 2 years with the Rise of the Good People campaign, documenting the daily life and progress of Aaron Benjamin Miles, soon to be 110th mayor of New York City. Before becoming mayor of NYC, Aaron Benjamin Miles. Aaron Benjamin Miles, 110th mayor of New York City. When we come, we coming. So today, my topic is going to be agency abuse of authority. Why I'm going to talk about that is because today is the first day back on, this is my first video back since I received my termination letter from yours truly, Mr. Steven Banks, Commissioner of DSS, HRA, DHS. Soon to be former Commissioner of DSS, HRA, and DHS. Because when I get in my office, we going to talk. You feel me? Made a big mistake right there, buddy. But anybody who's been following me knows that this is one of my main issues that I want to address. Agency abuse of authority. I'm going to tell my little story, how I got into the agency and how I've personally been a victim of this abuse of authority throughout my experience dealing with the agency. Yep. Got my termination letter Friday. It didn't bother me because I'm very spiritual. By the way, let's give a moment of silence, give praise to the Most High, and to acknowledge the ancestors without whose guidance, wisdom, and protection, we would not be here. So let's do that. Yeah. All praise due to the Most High and the ancestors, without whose protection, wisdom, and guidance, we would not be here. I see I got a viewer from YouTube That's the moderator that watches me, that decides when it's time to add the filter to start disrupting my sound, because they can't block my stream because I'm not violating their policy. And since they're advocates of the white agenda and don't want this message to reach its destination, they use other tactics to try to disrupt the message or the messenger. But I always keep telling them, like, you could do whatever you want. You can't stop the message from reaching its destination. I know that for sure. The message going to reach the destination regardless what you do. So just do what you got to do. Termination. This is a bully tactic used by many agencies all over the United States. It's Governor Cuomo right now is being accused of abuse of his authority. Young ladies are accusing him of sexual harassment. I also have a complaint filed in the same regard, sexual harassment. Miss Desiree Royer Brown, if you're watching, if you're listening, if anyone who you know can hear my voice, we're going to address that accusation, allegation, complaint that I filed for your sexual misconduct against me. Some people might be like, damn, you seem too strong to have somebody sexually accusing somebody of sexual misconduct. Who would do that to you? Well, she's a very strong alpha female, and I think she was attracted to the personification of strength and courage, that radiates off of me. You feel me? Aaron Benjamin Miles, independent. I need those campaign donations, contributions. Just go to my website, riseofthegoodpeople.org, and make that happen. $5 and up. You can even send $1. Doesn't matter. It's a campaign requirement. The Campaign Finance Board, I need at least 1,000 people to make a donation of at least $1 to certify me, make me eligible for these matching funds that they're giving out. I'm also going to need them 7,500 signatures in a minute. So let's get ready for that, people. I hope my voice ain't coming out too loud on this mic, because, I'm learning how to project my voice. I'm getting kind of good at it. But sometimes when you're too loud into the mic, it distorts it as well. But that's a different distortion from the distortion YouTube does in their attempts to disrupt my video stream in advocacy of the white agenda. Termination by Mr. Steven Banks, Commissioner, soon to be former Commissioner of DSS, HRA, DHS. Now I'm going to go through my whole experience with Human Resource Administration, because as most of you know, we grew up dependent on this like it was daddy. Most of us grew up in a single parent household with our mother. They make sure they get rid of the men out of them households. Sometimes you don't even qualify for these assistance programs when there's a man in the house. I remember, there's movies that has been produced showing. There's one out with James Earl Jones that I remember very distinctly. I don't remember the name of the movie, but I remember him in the movie. And he tried to get up with the lady with her family, and they was like, "Yo, you can't really be up in here when these Social workers come because they'll cut us off and we won't get no food stamps, and that won't be good because we got to eat. But as we grow up in these single parent households with our mother, you know, we be on that public assistance. That's how they keep control of a lot of us, making sure you only get as much money and resources as they want you to get. And they keep applying that pressure and they keep pumping that worry to death inside of our families with that vice grip control. But anyway, I grew up on public assistance. It's a tradition in our family, passed down from generation to generation. They teach us how to, navigate the system. It's one of the few ways we can learn how to survive in communities of color. Being that they close all the other avenues to access to any kind of economic relief. And so when it was my turn, my mother and my family taught me how to go down there and apply for welfare. And I got my own case open. So did my younger brother. We felt like we were grown-ups then. When you get your own case, that money coming directly to you, you get your own little $100 and your own little book of food stamps. You feel like a big shot. Yeah, these mines. I'm gonna spend these how I want to spend them. They make us proud to get that little bit of money that can't even really last a week. But we don't be looking at how much it is. We be looking at how little it ain't, because we know the game could get worse. You could be on some having nothing. Even worse than that, you could be on some having nothing and owing people and be in debt. So, I began my journey on public assistance, welfare, food stamps, whatever you want to call it. And I remember during that time I had to go to, face-to-face meetings and social workers and, same hurdles that I watched my mother go through. And there was always such an unpleasant experience dealing with these workers. They were so selfish and abusive with their authority, almost dismissive, as if you didn't matter, as if you being a client did not assure them a job. They didn't look at it that way. They looked at it as, I think, they have a job and you don't, so they're better than you. And anything you come requesting as a client, they kind of looked at us as like we were beggars. You're begging me. You coming here asking me for stuff like it was theirs. Most of them treat you like you asking them for something out of their pocket. What you want now, nigga? You here again? I remember you from last week. Nah, go sit down over there and wait till I call you. Go and sit down. Have a seat. Have a seat. That's how they talk to you. Grown people, you will see them talk to the grown people older than them, elders. Go have a seat. Wait till I call you. I'm busy. I'm talking to someone. I'm on the phone. Don't you see I'm on the phone? This is how they do in these agencies. This, my people, is abuse of authority. Because had we not submitted our requests because of our needs, they would not have a job. They should be so much more respectful and appreciative and acknowledging the blessings that we present as clients, ensuring them a daily job. But I guess they don't see it that way. So for years, I was a client of this welfare system, and I was subject to this abusive behavior. Now, at some point, I got to the point where they didn't want to just give us our food stamps for nothing, And I guess somebody came up with a brilliant idea of, they call it the WEP program. Yeah, let's make these beggars work for these food stamps. It was called work experience program. So I guess it was their way to give us some experience on the actual job, like intern. And then for that internship, we get our benefits. So my assignment was cleaning the toilets in the bathroom inside the 14th Street welfare building. Well, they call it job centers now, right? So I would clean the bathrooms and I would get my benefits. But it turns out I enjoyed the position. I took a lot of pride in it. Be it inside the job center, feeling like you had a purpose and importance. And it's a sense that people relied on you. I had to make sure tissue was in the stalls. I had to make sure the bathroom was clean. Ladies, why do y'all treat the bathrooms like that? You would think the men's room would be the problem. Ladies, OMG. I feel sorry for the women that has to really go in those bathrooms. In the women's room, after some of those ladies, they vengefully dirty. I guess they just be having the attitude, and based on the attitude, they determine what they going to do disruptive in the women's room. They put, I don't even want to say it. And I have to go in there and clean it up. I have to block it off the entrance so nobody comes in there while I'm cleaning. Some of these crazy people still want to try to come in there while I'm cleaning. I'm like, I'm a dude. We can't both be in here, miss. At the same time, you got to wait till I finish my job and make it, presentable for you before you try to come up in here. I'm coming. I need to use the bathroom. Now, I ain't waiting. Oh, my goodness. Anyway. I would make sure the bathroom was clean, presentable, fully supplied with tissues, hand towels, whatever it needed. I would come to work like I'm dressed right now. I would put on a button-down shirt with a bow tie and be coming around with that bucket of water or my cart. And people would ask me, yo, why you dress up so much to clean the bathrooms? And I would tell them, because I'm not dressing for the position that I'm doing. I'm dressing for the position I'm planning on having in the future, which was being one of those social workers. I used to watch them when I used to come in there, and I was like, what do they have that I don't have? I could do that, right? You see them behind the desk and answering the phone and doing the paperwork. And I would pass them on my way to each of the bathrooms because I had to go through all the buildings. So I had access to everywhere. I go through different departments. They started knowing me, asking me for little supplies. Let me get a pack of napkins. I'll give it to them, get to know them. But I would watch them doing their job, and I'd be like, I could do that. I'm going to get that job. And so that's what I was dressing for. I wasn't dressing for cleaning the bathrooms. I had bigger plans than that. And I used to try to explain that to people. Some people got it. Most people didn't get it. Like, yo, I wouldn't dress like that if I was cleaning the bathroom, son. I wouldn't wear my button-down shirt and bow tie. But guess what? After a while, they actually terminated me from that job, actually. Not terminated me. They transferred me somewhere because some lady named Stephanie, she got me transferred, one of the supervisors. Again, abusing her authority. I thought I was cool with her. I gave her one of my hats that I made because, I design clothes. I thought we was cool, but one day she just talked to me like I was nobody. And That's the wrong move to do to me. And they get so enabled by other people that let them get away with that. See, that's one of the problems. A lot of people be afraid to stand up for themselves or speak up for themselves, and they'll let them do these things to them, speak to them out of tone, call them out their name, just abusive. That's, again, that worry to death. They throwing all that negative energy on you, all that stress, all that worry. See, my body very sensitive to that. So soon as you come at me with that, it's a very abrupt reaction. Like, you better put the brakes on, because it's not going to be good for you in T-minus 2 seconds. Trust me. See, when they felt that vibe right there, they be like, yo, that's threatening. This dude feels threatening. I don't like him around. We need to get rid of him. And so they got rid of me. And I was transferred somewhere. But anyway. Yeah. I lost that job, matter of fact. And then I got into the job programs, the back to work programs. We Work. That's the one I went to. We Work. And so you have to go to this program every day for 8 hours, like you're on a job. And they would make you do things like, work on your resume. I guess they would have little classes, people talking to you. You meet your worker, like a caseworker. He's following and documenting all your progress. And, they always threaten you with what's the word they called it? They would even threaten you in there. FOC. They would threaten you. I'll FOC you, failure, FTC. I'll FTC you, failure to comply. That was the threat that they will always throw at people. I would hear it all the time. FTC, I'll FTC you, failure to comply. Now, there's a way that you could use that for people that's really not trying to cooperate and, not trying to better themselves. But there's another way to use it where you're just abusing your authority. And that's what they would do, abuse their authority in there. We were nobody important. I'll FTC you. You want to get FTC? Failure to comply. I guess you get a certain amount of those, and, you have to, deal with another bigger problem after that. So more worry to our death, though. Hearing that every time, see, I told you, it's repetition and engagement. We engage with them, and they keep hitting us with the FTC, I'll FTC you, I'll FTC you, I'll FTC you. That's worry to your death right there. They're just pumping that in your body. Very poisonous environment for your spirit. But anyway, I'm in there and I'm doing my thing. And one of the ways that you could get out of having to come into that toxic environment was to go take city exams when they came up. You find out what the dates were for these city exams, for these city jobs, and you get an excuse. You get excused from having to come to that program, and you could take the day off after you go take that city exam. And so every time a city exam came up for the job titles that I liked or that I wanted, I was out of there. And so I kept taking that city exam for the social worker. Job opportunity specialist. And the first time I got like about a 85, 88, which is pretty good, but there's a list, and the list is based on your position on the list is based on your score. So that didn't put me as high as I wanted to be on a list to kind of more ensure me a call for an interview to get hired as a city worker. But I kept taking the exam because you could take the exams over and over, and, they always go with the highest score. So the next time I took the exam, I felt more comfortable since I took it that first time. I was more familiar with the questions and everything. Took the exam again. I got like a 94, 96. Booyah! Got the call for the interview. From the interview to the orientation. And then I'm in there. Now I'm on the other side of the fence. I just told that story because I want you to see that even on the other side of the fence, you think, okay, now you're not going to endure or be subject to such the toxic environment. Wrong. They the same inside there as they are on the other side, except the lower workers are become like the clients, right? It's the same exact system. You're still dependent on the city for your benefits, which turns to be a check now. And just like the WET program, you got to work for your check. And you got workers over you that they become your caseworker. They become your caseworker. All these employees that got these city jobs and acting so high and mighty to these clients that's coming there for these services and these benefits, it's so weird that they're in the same exact situation. Inside there, you like a client, you have a caseworker assigned to you, you got to work for your benefits, and they can FTC you anytime they feel you have a failure to comply. Like I said, there's a legitimate way that you can use that system when people are really out of pocket and out of control and don't want to show a willingness to better themselves. And then there's an abusive way to use that, where you're just abusing your authority. They all use it the abusive way. I think it trickles down from the top down. So I was in there, and my first experience with any problem was I got accused of misconduct with the young lady who I was servicing while I was in HVN, home visits needed, homebound. We would go out to people's homes, and we would, bring the services to them if they were elderly or sickly or disabled. And I got assigned to this young lady, and, I was kind of caught off guard because I'm thinking I'm going to see an old person or a very sickly person, and she was very young and beautiful. And I couldn't believe she had the condition that she had, like cancer. She was about to get an operation on one of her eyes. It just made my body shiver. I got a chill inside just thinking of her going through this harsh experience as such a young, beautiful person. And so I just felt like I wanted to create a new face for the agency as a result of my bad experience with the agency and how I always had such a negative experience dealing with the workers. I wanted to create a new face. I felt like I have a chance to give someone a different experience with the agency because now I'm a worker. I'm a social worker. So I went over and beyond my responsibilities, which everyone was kind of warning me don't do that, but I didn't see why, what the problem was going to be. Sometimes I saw people come into the center and they be complaining they don't have no food, they haven't eaten in a day or so, and we would give them emergency food stamps, but they still have to wait like a day for that. So I got caught in a situation a few times where I wanted to give people money, and my coworker stopped me. Nah, you can't do that, son. You can't give them money. Nah, don't feed the animals. We ain't allowed to feed the animals. Don't do that. But all I could think of is the days that I came in there and was in that same position and wish I would have had somebody offer me a little change to go get a snack or a sandwich or something. So I was like, he must have that same feel how I had when I was in that position. Let me make his day beautiful. I got extra money. I got a job. They paying us all right. Let me give him $5 or $10 so he can go get a sandwich. Nah, you can't do that. No, we're not allowed to do that. You'll get in trouble. I didn't understand that. I understand it now, though. There is pitfalls to it. So getting back to the situation with me, with the young lady, I would do things like when she was in the Bronx. So when I was in the Bronx, I was doing things like when I was in her area. I would call her on my lunch break and be like, yo, did you eat today? Because I'm in Popeyes right now. I could grab some. Is your mother there? Is your mother there? Because first of all, is your mother there? Because I know your mom's going to make sure you're all right if your mom's is there. But if your mother is not there, next question is, did you eat? Have you eaten anything? Because I'm assuming it must be important that you stay, well fed and keep your energy up with those conditions you have. I would be like, I'm in Popeyes. I could get you something if you want and drop it off there. I'm out. Of course, I'm in the field. I'm running around. I'll do that. And a few times she was like, yeah, but no, I don't think so. No, she was kind of iffy. Make a long story short, I would ask her about, workouts. Because, I'm still into physical fitness. I was like, I could give you some pointers and advice on different workouts that might be good for you. I know these excellent workouts that you don't have to do no physical workout. I use balloons, blow them up and inhale the air and exhale the air, and it strengthens your lungs. I wanted to share that with her. But anyway, she ended up turning all of that into misconduct and me criticizing her weight and all kind of things. And I got in trouble for that. And it ended up with me getting a 60-day suspension, which they use to today over my head. Like, you've been suspended for 60 days before for misconduct with the client. And they made it seem like something it wasn't, but, I'm like, they have it documented how they have it, and I see what they're doing now. So I said, okay, I'm going to let them rock with that. I just to make sure that'll never happen again. Over the course of time, they used that, suspended me, they transferred me to another unit because I wanted to leave that unit after all of that nonsense. I got transferred to another unit where I worked in the field still. They sent me to shelters to provide the services to the shelter residents who needed these HRA services. Still more abusive behavior from your supervisor and the manager and everybody over you. It's just abusive. Nobody's respecting their position of authority and, to me, carrying out their responsibilities in a respectable, mature manner. They broke that unit up because they were stealing too much money. And I guess it was getting too hot for them. So they just dismantled that unit that they sent me to. I forgot what that unit was called. Dang, I forgot what that unit was called, but we would be in the field. It only operated for a short time. And then they dismantled it. And they transferred all of us to other departments, and they gave everybody pay increases of $15,000, I guess just to pacify us, to not really take any interest in what was going on and how abruptly they were doing things. And everybody who wanted that, who wanted that pay increase got it except me. Now, could it be because I was the most vocal and outspoken about not being disrespected? I don't know, but I think it was. So everybody in my unit with me who was offered that pay increase and who accepted it got that pay increase except me. More violations. More ways that the bully abuses his authority to try to teach you to stay in line. Okay, I had to take that. So now I'm at 14th Street. I'm working on 14th Street at Rap Renewals. I got this director, Miss Roya Brown. She's like a dragon lady. She just got the whole department shook. These people so scared of her. I'm like, what y'all scared of? Just a lady. But, I'm different because, my aunts were like her. Very strong-willed, very hard on the fellas in the family. They made sure you wasn't going to be a softie. They made sure you couldn't be a sucker in front of them. They're manhandling. So I had a thick skin when it came to that. And she noticed that. She came to me. Our first engagement was she coming to me. Now we don't have access to none of the programs in the computer. We don't know how to work none of the stuff yet. We don't know how to do none of the processing of the cases. We had to learn all of that. So I'm at my desk, and, I'm just chilling. Came to sign into the computer, so I'm on my phone looking at something. And she calls me in her office, and she's like, first I hear her tell one of the workers, one of her supervisors, and she said it loud enough so I could hear it. Why is Mr. Miles on his phone? And why is his computer black screen? And I thought she knew, it's black screen because we can't even log in. First of all, we don't got the code to log in, and we don't know how to do anything yet. And because we can't log in and do anything yet, that's why I'm on my phone. Where I'm going to sit here and just look at the wall or stare at you. You're not that pretty. You know what I mean? So I heard it, and I went to the workers, and I was like, was she talking about me? Because I don't think she want that smoke. I'm not one of these ones. I'll say something. You feel me? Hold on a second. Yo. Chill it. You out here? That's all right. Just call my phone when you get over here. I'm recording right now, so I don't really want to talk too long. I got the cameras on me. It's a building, yeah. But just call me when you get in front of that address, 667. All right? All right. Yeah, so I end up having a meeting with her in her office, and I listened to her. And after I listened to her, I said, you finished? So let me explain something to you. First of all, I'm a fast worker. Because she was like, I don't play that black screen and you being on your phone and being idle. You being idle when not doing something. I said, so let me explain something to you. First of all, I'm a fast worker. Right? So I get things done quickly. After I get things done quickly, I usually don't have anything to do, or whatever I do have left, there's something that's missing that's preventing me from completing whatever I have left to do. So there's no way to complete it or continue with doing it. In those cases, when I finish all of my work, and I only have work that cannot be continued for whatever reason, you might see my computer screen black screen. And you may see me on my phone. You know why? Because I'm not one of these people that's going to go out of my way to try to find something to look like I'm busy. I don't do that. You feel me? And she said, oh, well. Well, I guess we're not going to have any problems, you and I. And she said that because she knew she met somebody that's very much the same how she is. Like, they don't come at me unless you got a real good reason. Because you might not be able to deal with the smoke. Like, you feel me? You feel me? I'm not one of those. And over the course of being in her office, she grew fond of me, and people kind of noticed, and I seemed to be her favorite person. Even the ladies in the office used to tease me about, oh, you're going to tell Miss Roya going to come. I can't talk to you because if Miss Roya see me, she wouldn't let them talk or move around the office, but I would comfortably do that. Get out my seat, move around, talk to people, go outside, get me coffee, donuts, come back, see if there's anything new for me to do, because I knocked that work out quick. And as a result of that, she gave me a leeway to do that. And other people didn't have it, but they didn't work like me anyway, You're taking your time, you're dragging your feet, you're not sharp, you're not dressing the part. You don't really look like, you really respect and appreciate the job. So, of course, you're going to get treated like that, but still there's a level of abuse that even they didn't deserve. But eventually, one day, I wasn't feeling well, and I kept going in the bathroom because I kept drinking water. And I seen her come out of her office, and I was like, I don't want her to look over here and see me not at my desk and try to say something to me out of the way, thinking, that I'm fooling around, wasting time over here. So I said, let me go over there and explain to her that the reason why I'm really leaving my cubicle so much today is because I'm drinking a lot of water because I'm trying to work off this sickness. I felt, I was getting sick. So when I went over to her to explain this to her, and I told her what I told her, her response was, so do you want to fuck this pussy? Huh? So do you want to fuck this pussy? I couldn't believe it. That is one of the few times I was speechless. Like, I didn't know how to come at that. You know what I mean? Because it's not an insult, but it's very out of pocket. It is very inappropriate, especially for someone in her position. She's a director. And I said, oh, you crazy. And I just backed up away from her and went back to my cubicle because I didn't know how to approach that situation. Should I tell? Will anybody believe me? I eventually did after she suspended me because we kept going back and forth, I didn't take that offer, and I think when I didn't respond how she wanted me to, she kind of tried to make the environment, she tried to inject a little more pressure on me inside the office. But, put more pressure, I'm pushed back. So I guess after a little bit of the back and forth, she felt like, okay, I'm going to suspend you without pay, immediate, 30 days. She hit me with that. After going through it with her work, her supervisors, they was coming at me. Everybody's going to try to take her side, try to get on her good side. If they see her having a negative relationship with someone, they're going to emulate that to try to be on her good graces. But, everybody who came at me crazy, they got a little taste of that smoke. So eventually, she suspended me. Immediate 30-day suspension. So when I got suspended, I filed my sexual harassment complaint. And before that, I had filed another complaint for, harassment, retaliatory action, all kind of stuff. I was trying to file complaints because I was like just getting out of hand. Well, after all of that suspension, when I came back, yeah, they accused me of somebody saying they hurt me, say I'm going to shoot up the office. Somebody heard me say I'm going to shoot up the office. Now, an accusation of this type, I didn't take lightly. For one, I was already on my journey of before becoming mayor of NYC. I had already made up my mind that I was going to try to run for this position, so I didn't need something like that on my record. Right? So I had to address it. But even bigger than that, I felt like that put my life in direct jeopardy and direct danger, because people accusing black men of any violent type of behavior, cops seem to have the authority to come be judge and jury as a result of the accusation. It doesn't even have to be any proof. Just if somebody accuse you of being threatening, if a cop so desires, he can come and take deadly force against you. And you don't have any rights against that as a black person, as a black man. So I addressed that very seriously. I created that paper trail. I was emailing her. She didn't like that. We met about it. I recorded some of the meetings. I got recordings of her saying, no, okay, well, what happened was I said it. I said you're going to shoot up the office. They said what you said, which was, I have a street side. Now, I would say that to people because when they talk to me crazy, you know, I wear the bow tie, I had these glasses that I used to wear. I used to look real geeky and nerdy. And it was on purpose. It made people more comfortable around me. But I guess it worked too well sometimes. And so when it worked too well and they felt like they could just violate me, I would take the glasses off and I'd tell them, I'd be like, yo, my dude, check this out. Don't confuse these glasses and this bow tie. Because I have a street side. You feel me? Now, this is the other thing I should tell them that they didn't like. Now, I'm going to give you respect voluntarily. Right? But for you to give me respect back, that's not optional. If you don't give it back voluntarily, I takes that. If you don't give it back voluntarily, I takes that. You feel me? That made a lot of them feel threatened, you know, because, you know, who says stuff like that? Right? And what does it mean? What does I have a street side mean? It could mean all kind of stuff, but you can't necessarily just say it means violence, physical violence. I was saying it in terms of if you speak to me crazy, I'm going to talk back crazy to you, like, you know what I mean? Be careful how you talk to me. I have a street side, you know. I'll say something back to you that's going to hurt your feelings. But anyway, they took it all other kind of way. And they told her, and then she was like, and I have a recording of her saying this, oh, he has a street side? Mr. Miles has a street side? So is Mr. Miles going to come up here and shoot up my office? I think I better go and talk to Mr. Miles. Well, they spent that all out of, they spent that all into somebody heard me say, I'm going to shoot up the office. And as a result of that, I got a immediate 30-day suspension without pay. And when they suspended me, they didn't even tell me why. They didn't give me a reason. They just like, well, you'll find out when you get back. I'm like, you could do that? Yeah. But they really can't. According to the policy and procedure, according to the agreements that the union and the city has, and according to the CSL, civil service laws, they can't do that. But they do, because inside there is like Las Vegas. The house never loses, and they just do what they want to do. They don't even know their own policy. They don't know their own procedures. They don't know their own laws and contracts and agreements. But they so comfortable doing what they want to do because so many people let them get away with it that's the culture in there now. So the judge who was mediating before it went to trial, he asked him, okay, so you suspended him. So you saying someone heard him say he's going to shoot up the office. So what did you do when they reported this? Did you call the police to have him escorted out? No. But you said he said he's going to shoot up the office, though, right? Yes, somebody heard him say that. Did you hear him say that? I didn't hear him, but somebody else heard him say it. And they told me they heard him say it. Somebody told somebody else that said they heard him say that. Okay, well, you didn't call the police to escort him out? No. Okay, well, did you document it? Did you write up a report when this happened about him saying, because you know, in these agencies, they document everything. You got to write a report for everything. You got to have documentation. But again, no. So you didn't call the police when somebody told somebody that somebody heard somebody say he said he's going to shoot up the office. You didn't call the police, but you also didn't write it up? No. And even the judge says, well, that doesn't make much sense. And then, here's what the judge, I was enjoying watching the judge interrogate him. So, after all of this, with this dangerous individual who you said somebody heard somebody say, somebody heard him say he's going to shoot up the office, for which you didn't call the police to have him immediately escorted out as a danger to the workers and the public, and you didn't write it up after you suspend him, of all the places where you could put him and reassign him, you reassign him to the World Trade Center. The judge said, I really can't really believe you think this is a dangerous individual if you assign him to the World Trade Center. Who's going to believe that? The judge said this. So now I'm at the World Trade Center with the gentleman, her boss, Mr. Poley, who oversaw and participated in serving me this immediate 30-day suspension without pay. He was right in there smiling and grinning. Now I'm sitting right adjacent to him inside the World Trade Center. He's like my coworker, but he's still over the whole unit. He knows not to say nothing to me, because I let him know with the vibe. You don't have to say nothing. You can just put out vibes and people know, yo, you should stay away from me, because I'm not feeling you. It's not a game in here. You know what I mean? You ain't going to play with me how you do these other people. I'm not with that. But to make a long story short, I go through a little bit of nonsense in there to eventually we go through the coronavirus, and then we working from home. And the guy who issues the suspensions, Mr. Mark Neal, he's promoted to a new department, the head of a new department called Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And this gentleman who issued me the suspension emails me, soliciting me to join his new program. I kindly declined and told him that's a hypocritical program from a hypocritical agency. And I don't even know how you became the head of the unit, because I'm sure you probably never had any experience with anything to do with diversity, equity, and inclusion for the department that they're putting you in charge of. He didn't like this. I said a few other things like, I'm running for mayor. When I win, there's going to be a lot of changes to the agency. It's going to be a rude awakening for you people who's over there abusing authority. And right after I send him this email, I get another immediate 30-day suspension while I'm pending termination. I'm already waiting for them to make a decision on terminating me, because they supposedly have all this evidence about me saying I'm going to shoot up the office. But they just dragging their feet, even though I have an equal employment opportunity, EEOC investigation on them. I have an investigation from the State Human Rights Commission. And, prior to coming back from my new suspension without pay again, they sent me a termination letter. Now, that's a lot of abuse a person deals with, from all the way back from being a client to becoming a worker. This is how bad things happen in there with people who don't have such a strong mind and such a strong will and such a bright future. They go in there and they do crazy stuff. We all hear the stories of how it goes down in DMV or one of these agency offices where a disgruntled worker who's been too abused by people who are abusing their authority will come back in a very violent manner. See, I'm not one of those people. I have a strong head. I have a bright future. And I'm not going to let anybody take that away from me with these petty tactics, these petty bully tactics. And I wanted to tell my story just now because this is one of the reasons, this abuse of authority within agencies of New York City. This is one of the main things that drove me to want to run for mayor of New York City. Because I'm going to fix that. I know I'm not the only one that's been a victim of it. I know there's so many good, hard-working New Yorkers who have been, and who are still being abused. Many people who had lost their jobs, terminated, didn't have any idea on how to address that. They just ate that. You took away their livelihood, their ability to feed their family, pay their bills. This is what it's made to do. This is what they aim to do. They're trying to figure out the best way to hurt you the most. Terminate him, take his livelihood. Give him a bad reference. So he can't get another job. He can't use this as a reference, even though he spent all these years over here. So now he's going to have a big gap to explain on his resume. Because as soon as he put us down as a reference, we're going to tear him apart. Bully tactics. I want to share my testimony because I want people to know this is what's going on. These are the things I'm planning on addressing. When I get in my new office at Gracie Mansion, bye-bye, Mr. Steven Banks. You'll be out of there, buddy. You'll be gone. And all you other ones that's out there abusing your authority, there's going to be a new sheriff in town. His name is Aaron Benjamin Miles. Aaron Benjamin Miles. Rise of the good people, yo, I'm different. You can't break me with that. With these bully tactics, it's not going to work. I guess you really starting to believe, this dude really running for mayor. Let's terminate him. Let's try to disrupt him. Let's derail that. Maybe if we fire him. Nope. Before becoming mayor of NYC, you just making my docu-series much more interesting. Aaron Benjamin Miles. You can't terminate me and throw nothing off, baby. This is before becoming mayor of NYC. It's destiny. It's destiny. We got 49 other contestants that I have a list of all the losers. I have a list of all the losers already. It's 49 of them. They'll all be losers because there's only going to be one winner. And his name is Aaron Benjamin Miles, 110th mayor of New York City. We're going to stop abusing all these good people, hard-working New Yorkers that's just trying to do their job and take care of their families and pay their bills for not even enough money. You got them working for way below the AMI, area median income, which you set both. You set their salaries and you set the area median income. New York City agencies do both of those. You know how much it costs to live in New York? And even though, after knowing how much you said it costs to live in New York, and mandating most New York City employees to live in New York, like they'll tell you before they give you the job, you must live in New York City in order to accept this position. And then you give them a position that doesn't make enough to afford to live in the area where you tell them they have to live. What the f is the matter with you people? See, that's that putting them right in a pressure cooker. Put them right in a situation where you already start off with that stress so you can keep pumping them with that worry to death. You got to keep requesting overtime, asking for overtime, try to inch his salary up a little bit more so he could, barely make ends meet. I see the game. I see your strategy. I know about the worry to death technique, but unfortunately for you guys, I'm about to be the 110th mayor of New York City. Aaron Benjamin Miles, Rise of the Good People. We're going to talk. When we come, we coming.